Peace. How's it going, Patrick? ConservativeRap. And in this video, let's get a bit into the financial news. Remember, the goal is to push inflation down, but inflation is cumulative, all right? So since 1971, really, if you think about it, even though we hear about inflation going up 1%, 2%, or going down 1%, if you think about it compounded from that time, it's really over like 3,000%. Energy is going to be coming down quite a bit, and Trump really has control. Let's take a quick look at some steps, and you'll get a sense of some clips, rather. You get a sense of what I'm driving at. And this is from Zero Hedge. Let's go ahead and see here. First casualty of the power bill crisis. Pennsylvania abandons regional carbon trading market. The worsening power bill across the Mid-Atlantic region, a combination of nation-killing climate change policies colliding with surging load growth from data centers, has forced Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro to sign legislation allowing the state to abandon the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. The Pennsylvania legislature ended the state's RGGI participation in the new state budget, which also cut funding tied to the climate initiative, effectively reversing the state's 2019 entry under former Governor Tom Wolf. Senate Republicans opposed RGGI for years through its carbon pricing structure, effectively penalizes the state's energy sector, increasing costs for very plants that anchor the state's power grid and industrial economy. In return, power plants may for CO2 allowances that only send wholesale electricity prices higher and result in higher power bills for businesses and families. It's straightforward. Climate taxes equal higher power bills. Independent reports from the grid operator PGM and state regulators have warned that RGGI would pressure to close gas and coal plants early, loss of grid resilience, and higher risk of capacity shortages. Giving surging load growth from data centers, RGGI was a disaster waiting to happen that would have stripped the grid of spare capacity, destabilizing regional power supply and effectively paralyzed the state into power crisis, as its neighbors just south in Maryland have done through failed globalist climate crisis policies. For years, the Republicans who led the Senate used RGGI as an excuse to stall substantive conversations about energy production. Today, that excuse is gone, Shapiro told reporters during a press conference. He noted, "I'm looking to aggressively pushing for policies that create jobs for the energy sector, bring clean energy onto our grid, and reduce the cost of energy for Pennsylvanians." The question becomes whether or not the surrounding states, many of which are experiencing power bill crises, thanks to horrible green policies that strip stable spare capacity from grids and replace it with unreliable solar and wind, which collide with expanding load growth from data centers, quietly exit RGGI. I think this is going to be the first of many, and we've known this for a long time. It's really this corridor of states, right? The northeastern sector, along with California, that have been pawns for where the deep state wants to take the country, which is energy slavery. Right, I'm going to move on. Here's Trump administration okaying oil, gas drilling, and Alaska Wildlife Refuge. More energy. Right, the Trump administration on Thursday finalized plans to open the coastal plain of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to potential oil and gas drilling, renewing a long simmering debate over whether or not to drill in one of the nation's environmental jewels. U.S. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum announced the decision Thursday that paves the way for future lease sales within Refuge's 1.5 million acre coastal plain, an area considered sacred by the indigenous Gwich'in. The plan fulfills pledges made by President Trump and congressional Republicans, aka Drill Baby Drill, to reopen this portion of the refuge to possible development. The bill's tax breaks and spending cuts passed during the summer call for at least 4 lease sales within the refuge over a 10-year period. Burgum was joined by Alaska Republican Governor Dunleavy and the state's congressional delegation for this and other lands-related announcements, including the department's decision to restore oil and gas leases in the refuge that had been canceled by the prior administration. So again, Trump's been in office for 10 months. I say this all the time. The deep state, both on the Republican, Rhino, and Democrat side, have been running these games for at least the last 7 or 8 decades. So it's going to take time to undo a lot of the nonsense, and we have to remember not to lose patience. This is Eric Doherty on X. Going to share this tab instead. Wow, massive victory. Toyota has begun production of 13.9 billion in North Kakalaki, USA facility. This has committed another 10 billion for the USA manufacturing over the next 5 years. The 1,850-acre plant in North Carolina is the first battery factory outside of Japan, creating 5,100 American jobs. Awesome. Today's launch of the Toyota's first U.S. battery plant and additional U.S. investment up to $10 billion marks a pivotal moment in our company's history. What more proof do you need? Also from Eric Doherty on X. I'm going to share this tab instead. Breaking. President Trump announces new trade agreements that may soon lower the cost of coffee, beef, and bananas. The countries include Javier Milei's Argentina, Bukele's El Salvador, along with Ecuador and Guatemala. All 4 countries have agreed to a framework on reciprocal trade. Scott Bessent has indicated tariff cuts are coming on several products. New economy, parallel economy being built right in front of our eyes. And Karma Patriot put this out on X. This is about homes. And remember how Trump originally built America, which was on real estate. Oh wow, quite the coincidence. Fannie and Freddie Mac are studying new ways for home buyers to take over existing mortgages or move loans between properties. The Trump administration is looking into normalizing portable mortgages, allowing Americans to keep their interest rates, term, and lender when moving to a different home. How it works: you buy a house at 3, later you want house B. Instead of refinancing at 7, which is why people hold on to places they don't want, you get the same loan that 3% move with you. Same rate, same terms, no refinancing fee. Someone may want to trade down, but why would you trade down if you have such good financial arrangements? And let's take a quick listen to Scott Bessent.
And I think one of them, at least, was one of your ideas that I thought were really interesting. And one of them was the portable mortgage, the ability to transfer your mortgage rate to a new property if you buy it, or you could the assumable mortgage, which you can assume the interest rate of the house that you just bought if they have a low rate. Talk about that, because those are actually ideas I think that Trump voters are going to love.
Right. I don't know about the assumable mortgage, but the portable mortgage is something that works very well in the UK. If you have a low rate, and there's so many people with mortgages that are 3% or below from the pre-COVID, the COVID years, that they just don't want to move. And it's that logjam that is jamming up the housing market. Someone might want to trade down to a smaller house, but why would you trade down when you have such good financing arrangements? So if you could move your mortgage and maintain the rate, it works.
That's something that we could we do that? I mean, what would that take to get that done? Because I mean, that's obviously a regulation, right? But that would be enormous. I mean, if you have people that have a 3% mortgage, why would they move or sell or buy in this moment?
Yeah, look, I think with President Trump, everything is on the table because he is so interested in getting this affordability crisis fixed. And as I said this morning, and the host didn't really want to hear it, there are 2 ways to fix the affordability crisis. So we inherited a mess. President Trump has pushed down the rate of change, but Rob, the other way is real income growth. And during President Trump's first term, we saw the hourly workers do better than supervisory workers. We saw the bottom 50% of American households by net worth do better than the top 10%. So there will be a point, and when the chart comes out, I will come on and share it with you the first day it comes out, that inflation will turn down and real wages will turn up. And when those lines cross, which I am confident that they will, then Americans are going to feel it. Just like when they were told there's a vibe session, you don't get it. As much as the mainstream media keeps telling them there's an affordability crisis, they're going to say things are pretty good in my household.
Amazing. And again, we're walking into a new economic reality. There are many who feel the Trump administration has not been doing enough at home as it focuses on quelling wars abroad. Keep in mind that just like they no longer have a COVID or other health scare pandemic to run, just like they can no longer get away with the cheating on the national level at least, World War III is the last tool in their toolkit to use, along with a cyber attack, to stop the people from waking up. So Trump has to nullify that first, and now we're seeing the pivot back to the kind of staples of domestic well-being. The deep state, the central bank, World Economic Forum, they're all panicking. Manufacturers coming back here. You have Trump and the Patriots talking about dividend checks that are not stimulus, right? We're not borrowing or creating currency. It's currency that's already in existence from other countries. This is the opposite of what the central bank wants. And for decades, for generations, we've been going in the opposite way. So keep that in mind when people tell you Trump isn't moving fast enough. What do you think? Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, and check me out at ConservativeRap.com for more. Thanks and take care.